Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Chichester Chats. It's me, Phil. It's Lilith. And of course, you know who he is, successful Kickstarter comic creator and Mr. Daredevil Black Armor #1's going back for a second printing, Mr. DG Chichester.
Well, guys, it's the late night edition, and I don't know if it's like a special effect you've got going, but I'm hearing like some kind of reverb, like some world wrestling, entertainment like thing going on. So that's especially exciting here as we do our late night edition of the Chichester Chats. So good to see you both. Happy Thanksgiving, or a little bit after, and it's exciting to be here.
Thank you. All right, and like I said, I had one question I have to ask up front.
Yes.
I think you mentioned it last episode, and I saw it confirmed on social media. This is what I want. I have one question, and then I have a comment about it. But first, I want the answer to the question. What did Mom think of the first issue? What did
Well, Mom just liked seeing herself. As I said, she grabbed the silver issue, the foil issue, and pushed out the other things out of the way, grabbed it, and she'll never read it. She'll never crack the cover. But she was inordinately excited about this whole thing, and then we went to this kind of semi-local comic shop. I had a choice between a couple of them, and I picked this one, which I hadn't really been to before, and it was an okay shop, but it was super low key, and I think we cleared the shelves of it, and I think she was just excited by that. But the owner was a little odd, because I pointed out, I said, "Oh, I wrote this," and I pointed to my little tiny name on the cover. I don't think they could have possibly printed it smaller, and his reaction was like, "Good for you, good for you." Like, I clearly thought I was delusional, or suffering from dementia or something. So it was just a nice moment. But she loved seeing it, and she loved seeing the covers, and she got a big kick out of it.
Oh, no.
I gotta hook you up with my guy in Florida. If you ever want to come down to Florida, my guy's like the second biggest in all of Florida. He'll pick you up from the airport. He'll put you up, whatever. He's
awesome.
A guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's always excited. Always, no matter if you're small or big, artist, whatever, color, letter. Yeah, he's a really great guy. And by the way, I am home right now, and I was like, I knew I had to put this on like in the pile. Like, I wasn't gonna leave it to chance for the variant. I was like, you gotta give me the variant. I don't care about the other one. I gotta get the variant. But in my store, which he bought a lot of them, it was like literally all sold out when I got there on that.
That's incredible. That's amazing. I saw there was a variant that had which was crazy expensive actually, but for what it was the Bagley cover with just no logo. I guess that was a variant. Yeah. And just the straight up art, which because I did this signing at a different store way farther out in Connecticut, and they had that one, which I thought was an unusual thing. I couldn't imagine somebody buying that, but I guess somebody will.
Probably to have Bagley sign it, or we'll have like everybody else sign it and like it or something like that.
Right.
Those are for.
Yep, totally. Or they'll draw the logo on it. So.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw 2 or 3 people in my store when I went in on Wednesday, and I think everyone had it in their pal. So
awesome. That's what I want to hear.
I mean, it must have did numbers. It's already gone back for a second printing. It's not even a week old.
Yes, that happened. Like right off the bat. Like
shout out to all the reviews I read. This has had a really great.
Oh yeah,
people have been like really happy about this.
I haven't seen one negative thing on it.
Oh, my favorite review so far was.
Did Wired reprise their review? If not, we have
no. We haven't gotten to them yet. We have to send them a review copy. No. The level set happens early on. When you try to Google yourself and you get like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's critical, but they're making some good points, and then you go 1, 2, 3, and it's the third one is, the worst writer, the editors knew he was the worst writer. The readers knew he was the worst writer. He knows he's the worst writer, and it just keeps going. It's the brazen confidence of the internet. I love.
I'm not gonna say anything specific, but your Google algorithm is your Google algorithm. Maybe you like to be a little self-deprecating, because I literally the first 15 reviews that I saw in my Google list.
You're totally right. I've got to change. I got to go into incognito mode and do the search from there. You are exactly right. I'm
just saying, Google all knows us a little too well.
It knows us all differently, which is the thing we always forget. Totally.
I saw one lady's review. She said this thing needed more carnage, and I was like, you shouldn't say that about your son's book.
If I did see a lineup of new titles this week, and we did follow Carnage. It was Carnage
was like Carnage number
first,
one.
It
and
was
then
right,
we were
it was right next to mine.
right next to each other. I said, man,
Alphabetical order. Yep.
Phil and Lilith must have set this one up. It was just there you go.
All right. So, before we get to the questions I got, you said you had questions for us.
Well, I thought we turned this one around since this is different.
Okay.
This is, I'm not a nostalgia act for the next 4 months, right? I'm like a current kind of like, thing. Yeah. And I thought it'd be a little fun to kind of turn the tables on you guys and ask you some questions since you have read this fresh and this is kind of a new thing. So I thought I'd just put this out. First of all, before we talk about your reactions to it, what were you expecting from this series before you actually went and picked it up? Like, what was your sort of expectations of what this thing was going to be?
I thought it was going to be like well, before we actually discussed this, like previously in the last episode of Chichester Chats, I was thinking it was definitely going to be a little bit more like high tech, kind of like, Tree of Knowledge kind of style, because that's just kind of that thing. But then I had to remember as we were talking, it's like, you have to do this fine line of nostalgia, but also fit it within the continuity that came before you. But like kind of like those Wolverine stories. This is what you didn't see in between page 3 and 4 kind of thing. So.
This all takes place between page 3 and 4 of issues 4 of Tree of Knowledge. Everything happens in there.
I mean, I was definitely hoping for grounded street level stuff. So
yes,
pleasantly happy.
I mean, I don't know if I had expectations. I just think in my mind, I really didn't know, but I just like, it'll probably be at least on par with what he wrote back then. But I was like, no, not in a bad way. But I'm just like, I mean, I think this is like a bigger page count, but I'm like, man, there seems like there's a lot more. Seems like a lot more going on in this than like any of the like. The issues from the 90s. I was like,
and that's saying a lot because the 90s, like we always joke, like the modern comics could never get through the amount of story nowadays because everybody's writing for their trades that they did back in the 90s.
Oh yeah, and I mean, when we Tree of Knowledge last time, I mean, you packed so much stuff in each issue, but I'm like, man, it seems like, I mean, I don't think you really get. I mean, after he put on this costume, I don't think there was like a ton of interaction with the Kingpin. I'm like, oh, I didn't think we were gonna get Kingpin. We're getting Kingpin already, yeah.
It's nice little things there. So so what was your initial reaction in this first read? You guys seemed like you liked it, you dug it.
Oh yeah.
My first reaction, I was like, Sabretooth! Mutants! Oh my god! I would have never thought. Like that was my first. I was like, I would have never, but it works.
Well, I saw the preview.
To tell.
I saw the preview I saw the cover image for issue 2, so I knew Sabretooth was coming.
See, I don't like to spoil myself anymore. I told you, I just let it happen.
Yeah, they sprung all the surprises real early on, like with their.
I wanted to be fresh.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got a question. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, we're Sabretooth, and I saw an image of Hobgoblin. Were those your choices? Like they didn't tell.
I was going to ask that. Are we building synergy for something? If you're allowed to say.
Synergy for how do you mean? Like
like these specific characters? I don't know. And then like as you're like looking through the ads.
Or were these just guys who are like, I think
they're not. Yeah, we're not doing some Sinister Six or something like that. I'm not. Sony is not picking this up for Madam Web 2 or or Craven the angst-ridden hunter or whatever's going on with that thing. It's Craven time. The thing that Devin Lewis, the editor, said kind of early on is he said, why don't you play with things you haven't played with before and throw them up against some threats that he hasn't had, or maybe he's had them, but he's had them.
Armor.
Yeah,
as you had always pointed out when you brought that arc with the armor into it, because he did have a lot of threats.
Right. And
it's not just the spandex.
Exactly. As I reinforce every issue this time,
I think it would over people's heads, honestly, the first time.
I think you're right.
Like, you went to very great detail, and it made a lot of sense if people actually would have just not, people, especially comic book nerds, we hate new stuff a lot of times, and like we just hate it to hate it,
Oh my God, it's so true. And but
because
I think
now it's like nostalgic, and it was like back then it was controversial, but now it's like, oh, a nostalgic one.
Wait a minute, we get to see that thing again. Exactly. That's everybody's like, wait, I love that thing when I was a kid. So we threw around a lot of different characters and kind of looked at them, and then just ultimately I decided on the ones. I said these kind of seem like they're the most fun and they're the most and
what would make a good battle, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to have fun with there? And there's more to come. It's not just the two of them. So that was really it. Like, kind of, who can you pick from in all of the Marvel universe that you want to use that isn't going too crazy? And then we threw things around, and I sort of made some consideration. I had a long list of things. Ultimately, they weren't. I didn't get as much feedback from them as I wanted in some ways. I sort of wanted a little more help, kind of, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? But I just I hadn't really played with Sabretooth. I hadn't played with Hobgoblins. So those were great things for me to also look at and say, how do I create some different voices, for these guys and have fun with them, which when they get together now, next issue, because you'll have both of them, then it gets even more fun. Well, the artist was,
or he was there for the ride. Like, I'll just bring your story.
No, I mean, he's obviously been a huge part of it. But at the time that I wrote this and wrote the whole thing, I didn't know who the artist was going to be. They had thrown some names around who I still didn't know who that was. But I could look through, some of the people they were talking about. When Netho showed up, it was literally, they just sent me those first 5-6 pages. I think the first thing I saw was that Fall from Grace spread, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. I opened my email and boom, this is the thing I see. And I thought they were just going to get back to me about the rewrites I had done on the plot to get it down from 5 to 4 issues. So I'm waiting for them to kind of give me, a thumbs up that the pacing's right, thinking I'm going to go on to the full script. And instead the pages are there. So I said, well, I guess we're doing plot script. I guess this is really old school. And that's and he seems to be loving it. He seems like
I was gonna say you lucked out because he's so great with this kinetic action.
Yeah,
like I feel like Sabretooth was almost like handpicked for him because of the panels that we see Sabretooth in attack mode, and it just chef's kiss. I love it, especially specifically this one where he's jumping out at you.
Yeah. He's definitely into the whole 90s vibe, if you want to call it that, and he's
with
just
a little bit of modern sensibility. I find that, like, I didn't know if there was going to be like pressure to like try to recreate or capture something, like make it 90s but with a slightly modern twist. I feel like he really told the line great. Like, he didn't like go out of his way to imitate Scott or anything like that, so that was really appreciated. He definitely put his own twist on it, but it feels very 90s in the best way of 90s, like that extreme raw in your face kind of thing. Like, the 90s comics like, he totally nailed that, but in his own way.
Wait till we get to all the slaughtering the children, in the next issue. That's and that when Carnage shows up, you're really gonna love it. It's bad enough that I call it armor now. Now I'm just going to embrace Carnage, and like everything's gonna go. The Daredevil clone saga begins.
General Surgeon confirmed.
Exactly. Finally back.
Terror as the cliffhanger of the whole day.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers.
Did you see in Punisher they're bringing back the new Punisher book? David Popos, who writes that, was gleefully sent me a message on Twitter, and this isn't a spoiler because the cover's out there in previews, but they actually resurrected Shock, the Mr. Feared daughter character from when me and Scott had done that one issue, and he loved that character so much when he read it when he was a kid that he couldn't wait to bring it back. And I was like, well, you're obviously smarter than I ever was, because I just moved right past her. So good for you. So,
classic Chichester move back.
Classic. I said that. I said, man, good for you. So she's coming back. I don't think Surgeon General is coming back.
But no, I mean, you're playing this book for us, because I mean, Lilith and I love to see Hobgoblin get punched in the face, especially I believe this is Mackendale era, so we love seeing him get punched.
Yeah, I tried to figure out who the hell's underneath the mask, and the editors couldn't figure it out totally either. So I'm just like, you know what? He's keeping the mask on, and we're just going for full on pumpkin bombs and you know, batarang things, batwing blades and whatever. So I'm just going with Hobgoblin.
Nice.
So what does it make you reading this, looking at this? How does it make you think differently, if at all, about this black armor era? Like, does it suddenly change your feeling about that point in time, that there's now this other storyline, that there's this other adventure?
I mean, I'm excited. I was excited.
Yeah,
for the
I was
original
excited.
stuff,
I didn't have a problem with it at all.
no,
I like the street level stuff. Look, listen, when Matt goes through the ringer, it's like, this is like actually like now a trope. Like, he goes through the ringer, he loses his mind. Like, but this was his first rodeo. And it's like, that's kind of a reaction. Like, he's super traumatized. Like I totally get everything that you were going for. And I like this story because it's like, unfortunately, it's a timeless story, right? Of trafficking and using, you know, people, the unseen, you know. So yeah, yeah.
I love the added details. Like, you get the Melvin Potter. I mean, there was no Melvin Potter, I don't think, anywhere in your run. So it's like you get to play with Melvin Potter. I like that. You know, more Kingpin, and of course you're bringing back one of your old favorites, Strucker, of course, Baron Strucker.
Yeah, I was surprised that he showed up too, but
It's where the story took you. It's where the story took you.
Well, it's kind of, you said it's around the tree of knowledge, right? So I mean, that's
yeah. There's some he's shown up, and he's but he gets I get to play with him in a little bit of a different way. So he's got some good scenery chewing, you know, coming up in issue 2 and 3 and wherever he shows up, really. But so how, you know, I've read these interviews, I've watched some of these podcasts with this Chichester character. He's extremely critical of his own work. So how does this compare to his earlier work in your mind? What is different or better or worse?
I think don't take this person. I think it's better. It really shows how you've matured and seasoned as a writer. Like,
thank God, Lilith. Thank God.
I mean, I still see the Chichester there. Like, it's not gone or anything, but it's just matured, and I really enjoyed it. And like, I love seeing that progression. Because some writers get stilted, and they don't know how to take advice and things like that. And you've just always been a team player, and it just really shows like your growth and your evolution. And
no, I don't take that. I don't take that badly at all. I actually have compared to how I pick things apart with you guys, I have very little to pick apart about this one. I worked pretty hard to kind of make it work, and I'm pretty happy. I
would have never known you had to size this down at all for the pacing so far.
Oh God.
Did it more come in like the last 2 issues, or did you have to kind of like tweak all the issues when they told you that it was going to go from 5 to 4?
I had to tweak them all, because the whole thing was plotted out, you know, all 5 issues. So it all had to collapse in, and the cliffhangers had to change, you know, so it was all, you know, the story itself didn't change drastically, but the pacing and the cliffhangers, and there were scenes in 2 that came into 1 and that sort of thing. So, and there were,
Can you get an extended editor's cut? Who do we talk to about that?
I could probably find the scripts, but all told, I mean, I think that I think how it works now is great. You know, I think it's fine. I don't think I liked the pacing before, because there were moments I liked things to breathe a little bit more. You know, and it was almost giving, you know, another beat to introduce or reintroduce some characters. You know, the Juan character, you know, that he's dealing with, who, you know, continues to be important throughout the story. It was nice to kind of give him a little bit more space to kind of get to know Murdoch or Jack Batlin or whatever, and just little things like that. Maybe it was almost, for me, if nothing else, to kind of gracefully reinsert some things, but once we had to kind of condense it down, and then the editors gave me some notes on what they were thinking. They didn't get a chance to get in and do as much redlining as they wanted. They did a couple pages of redlining, and then they just basically gave me like, basically, we want this. We want more Daredevil earlier, and we want and it's like, I got it. I know what you want, and I was able to kind of accommodate it and not feel like it put more pressure on Netho by the time Netho showed up, because he wasn't part of that. He wasn't assigned to the book yet. So by the time he got into it, he was picking this thing up that then became very, it was a much tighter story and he had a lot more he had to carry. But he also makes a lot of decisions. I write it and I'm pacing it out in my head saying, okay, that's like 6 panels, and then he decides, no, it's 9 panels. No, it's 12 panels, so it's like, dude, go off and do whatever thing that you want to do to make it awesome. Cause you've clearly got the skills. So I'm not going to hold him back from there, but I do sometimes say, what are you doing? You're like, you're
I'm just excited. I mean, I think it looks like we're going to get more with the supporting characters like you created for Jack Batlin, like Randy and Lamar and everyone.
Randy!
And even
I know.
And the Karen storyline, I mean, they kind of just dropped that when you left. I'm like, are we going to tie up that Karen storyline?
Not here. I mean, I'll give you that much of a.
Are we hinting at sequel miniseries?
No, nothing. No, there's no. I know of nothing beyond. I know of nothing beyond next week.
Okay.
Not even unofficial. Reintroducing those characters or just having the touch base on a Karen or an Elektra or that kind of stuff just felt appropriate to me, at least. Like I'm coming into this world and I tried to kind of navigate it without going down some rabbit hole of like, it wasn't about my past stories or anything. I wanted to tell this story, but it did feel like you should acknowledge certain things about this guy's existence and life.
Yeah.
And they were there. And as you said, Lilith, I don't know what people did. I guess they did nothing, except let's kill her. Right.
I know you're so tempted, Phil. Not here though. Not here.
But there were just little pieces that you could play out, and it also worked well for me to then start to think about, all right, what are the issues that Matt's going through that aren't a delusion about his identity, but that he is struggling with. All right, these people I'm close to, but I can only get so close. And what does that mean? And that led then into the scene with Randy, who now suddenly becomes kind of a real character. I sort of forgotten about Randy, actually, like mostly. I obviously had some intention for her the way I was setting her up, but I hadn't really thought about her as a character until I started rereading these things with this in mind. And then suddenly she became a real character. But part of making her a real character was that acknowledgement of, well, I'm still obsessing over Karen, I'm still obsessing over Elektra, and I'm still like this. But then there's that scene where he has to kind of make a choice, right? He has to give her up or give them up or give up what he is to a certain extent to kind of move on. And that was just that sense of, all right, this is a natural progression. This feels really good. This feels like the characters are telling me what to do, which was a fun way to explore this world again.
Oh yeah, no, I commented. Yeah, I mean, you saw I commented. I think on your Facebook. I'm like, it felt like the '90s, but even better. And we got the signature Chichester Daredevil scene in this too. The old, I'm going to drop this engine block on you. I will drop this engine block on you.
That was a ball to write. I was afraid he was going to make me cut that scene when they started to kind of like. When we had to cut it down, and I said, Devin, you can't let me, you can't have me drop the Kingpin scene. He said, no, I want you to move it from here to here. And it's like, no, you keep it. I mean, it's in many ways, it's a pointless scene, but to me, it's so much fun.
One good push and they fall.
Good. Not as forgiving. Yeah, there's lots, it was fun to do it because there's lots of I felt little nods without it being. If you read the stuff and you like the stuff before, it's there, but You don't have to know it, I don't think, to kind of get into this. So where do you think it goes from here? What are you guys looking forward to kind of seeing?
More fights. I'm sorry, the fights were so good.
Oh, there's more fights. Oh my God, there's more fights. There is much pain to come. There is much pain to come.
I just can't wait for the last issue when we get some kind of like subtle like jab to Warren Ellis.
No, I didn't do anything.
Sure
like
hope nothing happens to this costume.
The only,
this
exactly
costume will never be broken. Yes.
I should, with the last scene, like we should have like, a post-credit scene with like somebody with the magic scissors, like, like just this person in the shadows. These scissors can even cut through biomimetic material, it's like, and then it's the Surgeon General, right? Into the shadows, and there it is, the scalpel that can cut.
The magic scalpel, yep.
The magic scissor scalpel. They were surgical scissors. That's, now we know where they came from.
I'm just curious how this ends, because I mean, you're masterfully weaving this through here so far, because I'm like, well, you can't you can't put him back to Matt Murdock, so it's like, where are you gonna?
No, it has to stay in this world, which was the worst and maybe best thing, right? Suddenly when it's like, okay, we're doing this, and then I think I said to you guys when you first talked about this, like, I wrote myself into this corner, never thinking it was gonna be a corner, but now it's a world you have to work with. You have to work with the Lamars or the Stithies or the Randys, and you have to balance the Jack Batlin thing, even though it's a little bit of an awkward contrivance, and you have to sort of not. But so far he's okay. I mean,
but we get to see more of Hell's Kitchen and make Hell's Kitchen feel more alive, which I think is a lot of things people forget. Especially in modern storytelling, like the city itself is a character, and how these characters interact within every city you live in is different, right?
Right.
There's a small city, a big city, especially like Hell's Kitchen, and like in New York itself, and what that means, and the people that you interact with, like even from like Upper Manhattan, Upper East Side, to like Midtown, you're gonna have different interactions with different people.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny watching Netho do certain things, because I lived in Hell's Kitchen during that time, and so I try to give indications in the plot of certain things. In some places, he's just making his best guess for things of a '90s version of New York. But it all works, I think. He's
Cafe, it's okay.
Yeah, he's so enthusiastic, and he brings so much to the page that it all balances out. No, I didn't even think about doing like a Warren Ellis thing or any, like, the only I used to be
like us, Phil.
I know, yeah.
No, but I used to do so many in jokes and so many things here, and the only in jokes now is they're not even in jokes. I mean, there's little nods and references, and there's like a line, and there's a line in 4 that you'll recognize that kind of like is an echo back to something, but it's just a way to kind of I don't know, mirror certain things. I put one in joke in there for my kid, where I reference the school he goes to, like in issue 2 or 3, I think, which was just a place where suddenly I had an opportunity to talk about something. I said, "Do you want me to put your school in here?" He's like, so that was fun.
And did I see preview for issue 2? We're getting a certain guest star.
I don't know. What did they preview in issue?
I thought I saw an image of Spider-Man, so I.
Oh yes. There's there's a fun Spider-Man scene. And again, that was an editorial sort of suggestion of just throwing things out there that I think what was the best part of the editorial conversations here was they opened up, I think, the opportunities for me. In a lot of ways, I always sort of felt like Daredevil had to be just here narrowed in. And I don't think, I would play with little bits and pieces. So much
has changed. People have caught up to how great Daredevil is, and they're not like so stingy about like.
That's what I was gonna say. Daredevil like a known name after like the Netflix series and everything.
Yeah. So it was fun to kind of like say, hey, let's use this sort of feeling that the Marvel universe is a bit, bigger. I mean, not that I didn't play with parts of it before, and I used Spider-Man before. But there was a nice place there, and there's a nod actually to the Surgeon General, maybe in the Spider-Man scene. Now that you mention it. You'll recognize it when you get to it.
Oh yeah.
But that was a ball. It was fun. It was like, and he gets a nice little armored dig in there as well. Poor
Not
Matt.
everybody can have a symbiote, although now that's not true. But back then,
poor Matt, takes a lot of armor abuse in this story in more ways than one. So
all right, are you ready for some questions?
I am. Now it's all yours.
All right. All right. On Twitter, yes. Kim Scametal had 2 questions. The first one was, if Marvel asks you and Netho to return for another Black Armor story, do you have another concept in mind?
Oh yeah, right away. I mean, I don't know if they buy it, but I have one. And if they didn't buy that one, we'll come up with another one. I think that would be a lot of fun. It would be an extraordinary amount of fun to work with him again. I know that he's, just from what I've heard and the buzz and things, I think he's going to be unattainable. I think he's going to be rightly much more in demand. And I know he's working on another series after this for Marvel. So they've already kind of jumped on him. And I think a lot of people are going to be signing him up. I think he's going to be a really hard get. But if there was a chance to kind of work with him again, I would do so in a heartbeat.
Oh, nice. Oh, so there is a concept in mind. Yes.
There's always a concept.
Well, it doesn't mean they'll like the concept. Don't
just red line all over it. Come on.
I read this one review, which was positive, before the Google algorithm kicked in, Lilith. And but they sort of said, it's a really good effort. It's a really, solid story, but it's a little they didn't use the word ordinary, but they were sort of saying, human trafficking and, street level mystery.
What we like in Daredevil.
Grounded. It's like they got no idea what happens.
Oh, he's molding us into a false sense of security.
They have got no idea. Like, basically, I said to the editorial team, I said, when I look back and I sort of, if I analyze Fall from Grace and Tree of Knowledge in a sort of way, they're really basically 2, excuse my language, bug fuck stories. They're really kind of a little bit off the chain, and I think maybe that's where the armor maybe has its best uses. So anybody who thinks this is an ordinary story or in any way, shape, or form, man, it goes places very quickly.
Oh, nice.
All of which is right there. In the first issue. So
just gotta look for it.
Media
literacy, people.
That's exactly it. Exactly.
All right. I don't know if you answered this one already, but what was the most fun moment to write in this first issue?
I think that Kingpin scene. I think that was just there was a lot of fun things to do, but I think that was a ball to sort of do it, and just get that back and forth play and abuse Wilson, in that kick the Kingpin when he's down, and that dynamic was just a lot of fun.
Well, those two are probably always fun to write, but especially in this era, it's probably even more fun because it's like, Kingpin thinks, oh, I can just, BS this guy, because it's a new guy, and Matt's just like, I know all your tricks.
Right. That was fun. And, then it was also like, there's to me at least, the fun little kind of call forward, even like the mayor joke, was a nice little bit. And, I think that, yeah, exactly. Oh, it's like Back to the Future, Goldie Wilson, or whatever it was, Mayor Wilson, It's just that, there's fun things to do when you can play with like where things are going to go, where the story's not dependent on it or anything like that. But I found that whole scene a lot of fun to put together.
Oh, I can't wait for the Spider-Man, because even Lilith and I were saying we'd love to see some Spider-Man from you too. We're just
manifesting. Don't mind us.
Yeah. CB Sobalski. Yeah. Give this man Amazing Spider-Man. But no, I did like you only barely touched the, you had like that 2-issue arc with Spider-Man back in the day. I can't wait to see what you do with Spider-Man next.
Yeah, and it's it's another small scene, but it's a fun scene, and it's it just helps advance the story a little bit in a certain direction. I could have probably handled it in different ways, but it's a nice way to kind of connect it to the Marvel universe, and it also expands this Black Armor, whatever you want to call it. Somebody called it the Black Armor era, but it just widens out the feeling that I kind of had doing this. That because everyone's going on, well, where does this take place exactly? Is this like takes after Fall from Grace and before Tree of Knowledge and after Tree of Knowledge, and whatever? It's like the only important thing is that there were more stories that happened in that timeline, and that's where this sort of like cracks it open a little bit more, where you could start to say, all right, he did interact with more than what we saw, which just kind of creates opportunity for not even for me necessarily, although I should be the first one they call, of course, but just anybody to play with it, right? To kind of play in this space. I think I said on Twitter, I said, yeah, geez, maybe Melvin just went and made another costume and kept it in the back closet. He made the backup one, so actually you could like totally.
Oh,
you could totally, undermine the whole ripping the thing apart thing.
So so it could show. Oh, or it could even show up in the present day. It's in
He's like digging through his clothes.
It's in a Warren Ellis proof safe or something.
Right.
Yeah,
this package arrives in the mail. It's like from the dry cleaner. Yeah, from Melvin. Like found this, with the ticket.
Post office. We finally found you. Here's your package from
exactly. The return address, Melvin Potter. 2021 Guardian Way.
But I think I figured this out. He said this. You don't know where this story is going. It's going to be crazy, and he doesn't want to pin down specifically when it takes place. I'm guaranteeing you, by issue 4, we're getting System Crash. I'm telling you.
Finally, they come back.
Please be true. Please be true.
And then I kill them off the next page. Once some more. Just.
All those ninjas he came up with from Fall from Grace, and then System Crash. It's just a big fight scene.
Gotta justify that armor, Phil. We gotta justify.
That's it. We gotta do it. We gotta do it.
So besides Sabretooth and Hobgoblin, are there other?
I'm looking at a picture right now of 4 of a complete madcap thing that Netho has done of. It's just one panel, and it's insane enough as it is. So yeah, there's lots of other of bodies and psychopaths, at play here.
Marvel's New York's not short for those kind of characters.
Some expected, some unexpected, some just so weird they're either going to make people laugh out loud in a good way, or they're going to just think this is the stupidest thing ever. But I just sort of went with it and just kept unspooling it and saying, well, this is fun, and where can Matt not only confront these things but use his brains to kind of outwit certain things. And we've talked about this before. I think that's where I enjoyed the character, was not just the brute force and the senses, but also I liked him to kind of I don't know, scheme a little bit. He's a bit of a schemer, I think. So in retrospect, I could have had him scheme more in the Last Rites Fall of the Kingpin story, but that whole story is a scheme, right? He seduces this, and he gets this, and he makes that thing blow up, and
everyone's scheming in that story.
Well, everyone's scheming in that story.
Let him scheme. I'm scheming. Let him scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
More questions?
I have another question. No, you go ahead. You go, Phil.
It's not a question, but a few days ago we got a comment on the YouTube. No, I just wanted to bring this up because you were always saying, oh, we got so much crap back in the day for that costume and stuff.
Oh, we did.
Somebody commented on the one episode we did when they announced this at Comic-Con. He said, ironically, the red suit is my least favorite one, besides the Shadowland Run Daredevil suit. Daredevil's armor is my favorite one.
I've seen that a lot. Seriously,
I know. He says I remember seeing it in issue 321 of Fall from Grace, and then in that one of those amazing Spider-Man issues, from back then. Yeah, but he said that's his favorite costume is the black armor. So,
and it's one of the coolest Daredevil toys for sure.
It's totally
I'm waiting on the
Daredevil
Funko
toy.
Pop, honestly. So
I always say,
is there a Funko Pop? Is there? Do they have one yet?
Oh, I haven't seen one. I've been hunting. I'm waiting. I know. Well, maybe now.
Hey, you can always sign the
maybe now there might be.
Yeah, exactly. The funniest thing is, I'm going to GalaxyCon this coming weekend. There, in Columbus, Ohio. But they said they're doing a black armor variant cover for GalaxyCon. So I was like, oh my God, that sounds really great. You look it up. There's no black armor on it. It's a beautiful illustration of classic Daredevil, but the only thing that's on it that's black armor is on the back cover. It looks like there's the logo. Yeah. But I don't understand. Like, I'm looking at it. I said a note to Netho. I said, "Where's the black armor? Am I missing something?" Like, it's just. Anyway,
it's the latest craze.
It's the latest craze.
It's like so gluten-free on Oreos. It's always been gluten-free.
I have not seen it in person. Maybe there's a kind of a variant, mezzo tint, thing where you tilt it one way.
Cover!
It's a lenticular cover.
Oh,
exactly.
that'd be great if it changed from red.
That
would be great. Yeah,
now that would be cool. I will.
I mean, we already got the foil. We need the lenticular.
I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta get the foil. Yeah.
The foil is cool. The foil is cool.
And I'm sure you know nothing about any of the plans, but I was gonna say they need to I want to see Netho's art on posters. I want
I know
merchandise, T-shirts.
That's a poster right there. I mean, there's
so many of these pages are actually pretty cool posters.
I bought page 17 of issue 3. And when you see it, you'll know why I bought it.
Oh, all right, kids. Surgeon General confirmed.
Exactly. The blades are out. But his stuff is just killer, and he's having a ball. I mean,
it shows. It definitely shows.
Oh yeah, I definitely want. Yeah, merch and posters, and that's what I'm saying.
Can we get like a pseudo copy of Street Legal as well?
I know.
I just need it in a little frame.
I don't, let this is maybe how I've also matured as a writer, Lilith. Like when I came up with that, I patted myself on the back. I thought that was like, all right, I've solved it. I solved the whole, how does Matt get his, his lawyer thing on and have fun with it. I just enjoyed that moment there. But, just coming up with this whole little conceit. And did you pick up on the one Saul Goodman joke in it?
Phil, that's your department.
Oh no, I don't know if I did. Oh,
tell me somebody said Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
Oh man, I missed it.
It's in the when he meets the cruddy landlord and his goons in the
I'm on that page right now. Hold on.
And he literally says it's all good, man.
Oh, I love it.
Phil always makes that joke, and I'm like, that can't possibly really be in the show, right? It is. It's actually in the show. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's all good, man. Oh, jeez. I think we've said that before. We're like, what if someone wrote Matt Murdock like he was Saul Goodman?
That's basically what Jack Batlin is.
Yeah,
at this point.
So not the law degree. Yeah, well,
not quite so
not quite
cruddy,
as smarmy, but
no. His heart's in a much better place.
Yes. Oh, but I'll tease everyone. Hopefully, next episode we'll have a special guest because I did reach out to Netho.
Did you? Awesome.
Yeah. So he might join us next time because I didn't even know what time zone he was in. He's like 2 hours ahead of us. So if we do a Saturday morning, it'll probably be easier.
Right.
Yeah. But he may join us next time. Because I wrote to him and he says my English isn't the best. He's like, but I'll give it a shot. He's like, let's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be awesome. That would be, just give the floor over to him and let him go on about it. So that
How
would be great.
difficult is it to work with Dan?
Well, I'm sure he'd have much to say. He's had to suffer through these plots, but he's like I said, he's packed in stuff. His storytelling, he's making the choices, and he's he's delivering, like beyond delivering. I mean, it's just great stuff, great moments. There's a great and it's like there's these not weird, there's these brilliant little details when you get to I'll say Strucker's dining room. It's not quite a throne room, but it's like but his dining room, in issue 2. Just look on the wall, there's this painting, that he put in there, Netho just put in on his own, of Strucker, just a self-congratulatory, Strucker painting, which is so perfect, for Strucker. But he just he just came up with that on his own and just sort of put it there. It's like, my God, that's like brilliant.
Narcissistic maniac.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he went to the trouble, and
then killed the painter probably.
it just no, I must have this painting on the wall. So it's just great little things. There's this bit I'm looking at right now from 4 where it's this I did a couple of those young Matt Murdock scenes, and he just has this great body language, of him looking kind of uncomfortable and nervous, and it's just the little touches that make it feel so so effective and so alive. The character's alive, the city's alive, and I think he's obviously, the guy's been working in comics for 10 or more years and has done a lot of work, but these are the kind of things that catapult somebody, right? Predator is not Daredevil, right? So that'll be the thing that his quality of work is suddenly not probably jumped. I think he's probably always been really good, but the people at Marvel or whatever else are starting to look at him very differently, and I think more power to him for that.
Oh no, the art in this is great. I mean, it's modern comic art, but again, it's not it's not taking me out where I'm like, oh, this doesn't look like 90s Daredevil. I mean, it's evoking that time, so it's
Yeah.
I said I want that poster, because what I'll do, I'll hunt down another Fall from Grace poster, because I had to hang my last one when I was a kid. But I mean, I'll take stuff down off that wall. I want a Fall from Grace poster, and I want a new Netho black armor right next to it.
Right. Yeah, no, that would be
Marvel.
super cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and to bring this episode all back around, I saw my mom was watching. Hi, Mom. Everyone's mom's involved in this episode.
It's a family affair.
Yeah, but yeah, I cannot wait for the rest of these, and I want them all now, but I'm like, man, then maybe it's better.
You gotta pace yourself.
Yeah, it's better.
You gotta pace yourself. It's
otherwise it'll be here and gone. Boom.
If they come out with this a year and a half ago, when everything you could binge, that would be fine. But now we're pacing the stories out like the old days. The episodes come once a week, once a month, or whatever. So, and that's kind of fun. I think that's I mean, obviously, I know where it's going, so I don't have to worry about it. But I mean, I hope I know where it's going. Although I struggled mightily last night over one scene of how the hell do you script this? What did you do? What did you do to yourself? But no, it all worked out fine. But I think that's fun. I think it's fun to kind of have that anticipation. I'm glad you guys are feeling that way. I really, I respect your opinion. So, you've done me a great,
I was just worried
service
about people's reaction, because there's so many nostalgia minis out now, how it's oh, superhero fatigue. I feel like it was a lot of nostalgia, and I saw the best compliment. I don't know if you feel like it's a compliment, but it's they were comparing it to World's Finest, where it's really great throwback stories with modern sensibility, but not too much modern sensibility.
I mean, that's Mark Waid. That's a good comparison. Yeah,
it's that perfect blend of nostalgia, but also nod to continuity of what comes after, but just You can just enjoy the ride without
Mark
anything.
gave me a thumbs up on this. I sent Mark an early copy, and he gave me a thumbs up. So I was like, all right, it's okay then.
You two have a lot in common. Actually, we've interviewed him a couple times. He's self-deprecating as well.
Yeah, he was very kind to take a look at it, and then he sent me back a really nice note, and so that was all right. That's good.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you need any script advice on these issues, yeah, just reach out. Me and Lilith will be more than happy to just tell us what's going on, and we'll give you some advice.
My mother will roll over in her grave if I actually put my English degree to use.
Wait a minute, I got to use it now. I can. It's a tax write-off now. Finally, can use it. So how would you? My last question to both of you. So, how would you describe this in one line or two, or whatever? What would be the way you'd sort of like, sell it to somebody else?
Fantastic.
Less than a line, even. You see, I would have bleep me out when you edit this later, so it's all clean.
No, it's like it's like
a devilish good time.
Yeah. Oh yes.
What was that one? What was that?
A devilish good time.
A devilish good time. You've been holding on to that one for a while. That's good.
It's been in the pocket, yeah.
It's been there, yeah. Wait a minute, I can
finally use it.
a
hell of a good time. So I was
hell
like,
of a good
devilish.
Time. Nice.
Good for the old fans. Good for a brand new fan.
Yeah.
No, it really is though. Like I think this is definitely you're gonna definitely see some spikes in trades. I think of the old trades. People are gonna if they didn't read it before or they
maybe Marvel will reissue some trades too. But
well, they're at Mithra, who runs manwithoutfear.com, who actually I'm talking to tomorrow, and get his review. But he sent me the upcoming previews or sales. I guess they are coming out with Fall from Grace and Root of Evil reissued in June. So somebody must be thinking exactly that. Like there must.
Well, a second printing is just like kind of a no-brainer at this point. But I think they had faith in it before. Like they kind of know. They can kind of.
The editor, the Daredevil office seemed to have faith in it, and they seemed, very hyped. Where it was kind of going and just the vibe about it. But you don't know. I mean, you don't really know until it happens, and then you start to think. I mean, actually, I'm not even going to say that. I cannot. I felt very confident about it. From the moment that we really started to bring it together, and then the artwork and everything kind of coming around it, and then the scripting on it, felt really good. And in the 90s vibe of like everybody's says the absolute perfect thing at the perfect time to the perfect effect. There's just some, I don't know. I just think there's some great lines in this story that just not even in this, there's some good bits in this one, but there's some I just think moments that the way that Netho did the end of number 2. He made a choice at the end that took like a splash, and it opened. He took what it was supposed to be a paneling, turned it into a splash, and then that changed like how I was going to handle the last line of the issue, and then it just became like this thing that was like about 500 times more powerful and stronger. It's like a cliffhanger. If that doesn't work for you guys, then just cancel this show altogether.
You're dead inside. Dead inside.
I'm dead inside. It's just such a great lead into 3 from the cliffhanger from 2.
So what you're saying is we love this issue, but we ain't seen nothing yet. Is that what?
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then you get to 3. 3 is like it's actually exhausting. I was exhausted by the time I finished scripting 3. I mean, not because it wasn't. It actually scripted really easy, but it's so like it is. It was. How do we get all this
in issue after all?
In 20 issues or 20 pages? How did we do this? I said it just doesn't seem possible. But there's like a shit ton of stuff going on. It's just a straight brutal run but it still has some good really good moments of character and introspection and, paying off some things, and time for the Surgeon General, of course, to
Yes.
make her, and that's
I'm just looking forward to Carnage. I just feel like he's gonna show up. I just know.
Can you imagine? That's that he's gonna pull out an issue 4.
That was the changeover that you can't
gets his head ripped off.
You can't use this character you really want to, but you have to pull Strucker out of the issue and Carnage takes over. That's
I was thinking about that the other day. Can you imagine, Lil, if there's just a scene where Matt's just like beating? I mean, again, Dan's not the guy who says and they fight for 5 pages, but I can just imagine a page or two of just Matt wailing on Carnage. So,
it's like, that's the red. It's my red.
Exactly. There can only be one guy in all red around here.
Exactly. So
no,
fun.
I just
well,
really
good.
Enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see what's more. Like I said, it was all sold out, and I wanted to buy more so I could give to my friends for Christmas.
Well, if you find more, let me know. I know I've got to find. I went to this signing like on Saturday at this store somewhere in Connecticut, and I did pick up a couple extra copies just so I would have some. But I should have actually bought a couple more to thinking about that. But
they'll have to settle for second printing. Oh well.
I'll have to. Maybe I'll find some in Columbus. Maybe they're not quite cleaned out at the con. Or I'll take them from somebody else. Somebody will hand them to me, like, can you sign this? And I'll just keep it. And I'll just be like one of those people, like,
Is that early December?
That's next weekend. That's
okay.
like that's this
like
coming
3rd, 4th, 5th.
Like this right now, like whatever. Okay. I leave on Thursday. The con is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So December 1, 2, and 3. Here's our announcement section. If you're in the Columbus, Ohio area,
Tyler,
come see me.
Go meet Chichester.
Come see me at GalaxyCon, Ohio, wherever the convention center is in Columbus, and I'm sure it's the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come by for autographs and Black Armor conversation.
Oh, yes. All right. I don't have any other questions. I don't know if you do, Lil, but I did want to say this is what we were talking about when you jumped on. Axles Infernal has been fully
yes
funded. I said I can't remember the last time I was so happy to see a charge on my credit card. I'm like, yes.
And thank you guys for your support there and doing a program devoted to that and helping push it and promote it. I know that was a big part of helping it kind of get over its hurdles and get in front of people, and definitely made use of that programming and that conversation. So thank you again for the time on that. And we're working hard now to bring it together. And if anybody backed it, and I know you guys did, the dramatic reading will be scheduled sometime in the next few weeks, probably, and you'll all get an email about that.
Oh, nice. All right, and before we go, I think I saw issue 2 of Black Armor's coming out, I think the 20th.
December 20th. A perfect
Christmas.
First it was Thanksgiving, now it's Christmas.
It is a perfect holiday. The last issue comes out my mother's birthday. Isn't that weird?
Oh, nice.
Like, so we might actually get it back into a comic store a second time.
Kismet. I told you this.
I told
you. Came along at the perfect time.
Yes. So,
oh, they gotta put another shiny cover on number 4 then. Oh.
I know.
Exactly. Make it gold.
She doesn't want some ordinary thing. But the next one is out right before Christmas, the 20th.
So kids, send in your questions, because you see the man will answer your questions.
I will. Let's go for it. All right, dig into it.
I said, hopefully next time we'll have Netho too. So
that would be so cool. That would be really awesome. Yep. Yeah, and then he can rag on me, and I don't have to rag on myself. And we'll go from there.
We'll get Fabian for that.
Yeah, Fabian's only rags on me about Epic Comics, I think. My pretentious, I can't sales support Epic. No.
Then just go. Then say, what did you say, Mr. NFL Super Pro? What?
What have you done lately? Deadpool? I mean, really, did that catch on? Anyway, guys, thanks for the special late night edition. This has been fun. I'm glad we were able to do this in advance of everything else, and so close to this thing coming out. And this will be fun for the next couple months by continuing to get this real time effect of what's happening.
And again, I mean, I'm going to turn this around. I want to post this for tomorrow. So yeah, go see him at in Columbus this weekend, right? This
yes, weekend. Totally. Yep, totally. I'll see you guys. Anybody come by and see me there.
Go get your autographs.
Flights go well. I'm there on time. It's not like going to Austin that took me 16 hours to get there. So I'm hoping Columbus is a little
drive through Texas.
It's a little close. It's a little closer than Texas.
Yeah, but 16 hours to Austin, that's bad by anybody's estimation. That was a long travel day. So yeah, Columbus will be simpler. All right, folks, take it easy. Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All righty. Be well. Bye.